All right. We got everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Lep. A large crow lands on the sill of the window. Kind of hops a couple times and tilts its head. And it's looking at you, and then in a burst of dark feathers, transforms into this pale-skinned, fairly young-looking woman, actually. But she's got these sort of deep, sunken, golden eyes, and she's actually quite beautiful, but she's got like a tangled mass of dark hair that kind of looks like it's windblown back behind her, and as she's kind of sets her bare feet down on the stone of the room, long, kind of like twisted toenails like scrape across the floor. And she's got a big crow feather cloak kind of wrapped over her shoulders. And she says, "Oh, my son, you're feeling lost, aren't you? I know you were just tossed out in the wind without any guidance, but sometimes that's the nature of my children. But I've come to comfort you, so don't worry." And she sits on the bed and kind of pats your shoulder. Tell me your worries."
Lep instantly starts bawling. And he tells her he tells her about Smiler, about how Twig was feeling that he wasn't doing good enough, about Zoe's sister, about Rayleigh, about Lulu, about Navathor, about he tells her everything. And this time he's just crying. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared and I'm sorry and I just want to be home. This place is so sad.
It is sad, isn't it, son? The things that mortals squabble about seem so pointless, don't they? They're
Yeah,
so
it does.
angry and vicious and hateful. It must be hard for you to feel all of those things in a human way.
Yeah.
I know that you feel lost, and there are many memories that you seem to feel are just at the edge of your vision, don't you? Memories
Yeah.
that you just can't quite grab onto.
Yeah.
Would you like to remember, son? Perhaps it's time.
If I say yes, is it gonna hurt?
Maybe not in the way that you think it does, or should, or will.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I wanna remember.
She presses her cold, damp hand to your forehead, and she sort of locks eyes with you, kind of deep wells of her sunken golden eyes kind of peer down into you, and she says, you know, I used to quite enjoy the sound of yours and Phylaxis's laughter outside of my hut when you were children playing. And she just kind of begins to, like, talk about your boyhood and that big gap of time, those years of memory that you don't have begin to kind of flood back into you. Part of that was, you being a child in the Baba Yaga's swamp, but quite often she would bring you into some of the more beautiful parts of the Feywild. This is where you met Phylaxis. In Baba Yaga, she has many strange relationships, many of which are with a powerful Fey royalty. And she brought you to the summer courts on some elven princes, some Eladrin princes' coronation day, some summer festival where you met Flaxus Smelera, and something happened that day. Baba Yaga, she had to make some kind of deal with Queen Tatiana. And she promised your service to the Fey courts, starting at your own sort of coming of age, to mark the end of your childhood. But part of that deal was that Queen Tatiana did not want your perceptions of the Feywild to be corrupted by Baba Yaga's gnarled clutches. And so, after that day, until the day where you were due to serve in the autumn courts of the Feywild, your memories could never really come together and form a full picture. And although you still lived a life a normal child had, you were never able to really hold on to that. And all at once, all of these memories kind of flow back into you of this childhood in Baba Yaga's swamps. And although, as I said before, from time to time you would get to visit other parts of the Feywild, they were never memories you really got to hold on to. And as they all kind of hit you at once, it is like a cascade of emotion, all these experiences that were kept from you, that you lived, you do kind of just pour out these swampy tears, and your mother kind of holds you to her, and she says, I'm sorry, my son, that your life had to be lived this way, but look at the bright side. You're making new friends, and you will have a chance to earn your place among the powerful Fae that watch over our world.
Yes.
And she sort of taps the staff and she says, and don't forget, I'm always listening.
Thank you.
She says, now, try to be a little braver. You're making that little squirrel work too hard.
Yeah.
And she try to limit your puking, you know.
Yeah.
I know Avernus can be scary, but your journey isn't half over by far. And she pulls a feather off her cloak and kind of slides it behind your ear, and she says, I'll see you again, son. And she kind of folds back into a crow and flies up and out the window, and for a brief moment, as she kind of flies out into the rain, like a few thin beams of sunlight come in, kind of casting on the floor of your room, and then they're kind of gone.
Lev takes a moment to process all of that, and then stands up, opens the door, and yells to whoever's still in the barracks, "Hey, I'm gonna be gone for a while. I'm sorry." And gonna wild shape into a full, just white crow and fly out the window in search of Galaxus.
Nice. Mavathor, make a perception check.
Alright.
You're in the temple. The tiefling woman, has been muttering prayers under her voice, under her breath, in infernal. Not quite loud enough for you to hear. What did you say your book was?
It was just like a small booklet on that contains some prayers to Asmodeus.
As you're sitting there with Twig, the woman, the tiefling woman, who's kneeling there with a candle in her hands, you hear her voice kind of go up an octave, and she says, and I pray that these fools will stop being so blind. I pray that they'll see that... Oh, I just kicked myself out of roll 20. The only way to win the blood wars is to fight willingly. I pray that all the devils I command will have the strength and courage to tear every last demon that emerges from the abyss apart. And she turns her head to look at you, and she stands up, and she kind of settles down on the bench on the other side of Twig, who goes, "Uh-oh." And the woman, she sort of crosses her leg, her bottom of her coat kind of falls open, exposing her bare legs. And she says, when will you and your companions realize that I just want to win this war? When will you stop working against me and join the fight?
I'll kind of look around as if she's like talking to someone else. And I'll look at her and say, "Are you talking to me?"
Yes, Mavathor. No one else is here.
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe Asmodeus might be in the room with us, but that'd be too much of a blessing to ask for.
Oh, he's always listening. He's always watching. Making sure everything is in proper order. But he can't force anyone to choose. That they must do willingly. And I spent my life choosing as well, you know. First I chose to convince the Celestials that the blood war couldn't be ignored, that the abyss would soon be at our doorstep, but they couldn't hear me, or they chose not to. Then I tried to convince mortals that it was coming. I lifted them up. I emboldened their spirits. I taught them to fight. I gave them the power to see the light inside themselves. And when it mattered, they turned their backs. When will you choose, Mavathor?
I'll choose when it matters.
When do you think that will be? Will it be when Elturel sinks into the river Styx, and you perish and crawl out of it as a lemur? Is that when you will choose to fight? You see, you pray to Asmodeus, as do I. You serve him, as do I. And I've been asking. I asked when Elturel fell if you would join me, and you denied. I asked, the Raven God, when he was imprisoned wearing the helm of Torm. Your little friends touched his spirit then. They heard my call for action. I asked again. Shit, I just lost it. Anyways. You can make deals with Bell. You can faithfully walk in the shadow of Asmodeus. But you can't stand beside me and just fight. It seems that no one's been willing to, and so I have to force them, so I have to trick them, so I have to deceive. 'Cause asking hasn't worked. And maybe I'm too proud to beg. But I guess I just think I shouldn't have to. And she stands up and she says, I'm going to return to Avernus. I've already been gone too long. But I hope the next time I see you and your friends, Mavathor, you won't be serving another devil that only wishes to take your souls for himself and hover upon his throne once more over Avernus for his own pleasure. I hope instead you will choose proudly to fight and end the blood wars once and for all. If not
How
for me...
How exactly do you plan to do that? It's the way I've seen things, they're not going well.
You know, I'll tell you a secret, Mavathor. I don't really have a plan anymore. But I can tell you what I believe. I believe I can't do it alone. And I believe I can't do it with soldiers who have been forced to fight because they were too afraid to stand up for themselves. Too afraid to make the right choice in the face of fear. You know what I never wanted to become this. But I'll tell you something that I've learned while being a devil. It's that they're not really any different than Celestials, you know? The only difference is that even if they're forced, at least they take action. You can pray here to Asmodeus. I'm sure many of these people that are going to be joining the war soon are praying to the gods as well. I don't know, Mavathor. I don't have a plan. But that's only because I'm the only one making them. And, she, reaches in the pocket of her coat, and she flicks a soul coin at you. And you kind of... Do you catch it, or...?
Yeah, he'll catch it.
You look down on it, you see that it's sort of got it's been minted with like a
your audio cut out for like the last 5 seconds.
Oh, sorry. It's been minted with like a you know, you can see there's been a image of an angel hammered into it. You can tell that it's like an image of Zariel. While she was an angel, she's just kind of standing there with her wings cast out and her sword above her head. And she says, I don't want to be the only one. I don't want to be fighting alone anymore. And, so I guess I'll leave my soul in your hands. And she disappears in a pillar of flame. And in the fire,
Oh, go ahead.
in the fire, as she kind of evaporates into ash and ember, you just kind of hear her voice say, make a choice. And she's gone.
Okay, hold on, more closely examine the coin.
Yeah, it is a soul coin. It is one of a kind, minted with an angelic soul. The essence of Zariel as she once was. Likely holding on to it ever since she pledged her service to Asmodeus. Make an insight or a religion check.
Okay.
You could sense that there was a tiredness, a frustration in Zariel's tone. It's hard to tell why she would have appeared here and had this interaction with you. You know that at the very least she and Belle hate each other, and that nothing really happens in Avernus without all of the powerful devils really knowing about it. Yeah, I guess that's about it.
Alright, well, for now I'll pocket the coin and look down to Twig and say, you'd think it'd be easier to feel or detect the archdevils here.
Twig says, yes, you know, she reminds me of some of the Archfey in a way. They have twisted senses of humor. You know, to me it sounds like she's quite lonely. I only know a little bit about her story from when we were in Fort Knucklebone, listening to Mad Maggie, but it does sound like for much of her existence, not only her kind, but those that she was trying to help have turned their backs on her. I can only imagine, after so long, how bitter that could make someone.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help that she seeks non-consented help from people. That certainly doesn't help her stance on any situation.
Twig looks up at you and he says, if you were Zariel, what would be your plan, Abathor?
Well, that's unfortunately not a fair question to ask, since I know she is far more intelligent than I, so I couldn't answer that question in earnest.
Do you think so?
Think so. I know so. She's she's an angel, or a former angel, but that's neither here nor there.
She may be intelligent, but often when we're fixated on something, we can become blinded to everything else. She's been fighting her war in her own mind for so long that she might not see anything clearly anymore.
So you think she's lost the big picture here?
I think that she wants to win. And I think she feels like she's been put in a position that she must do what she must to achieve her victory. I think it probably pains her to deceive the souls as she does, seeing as she used to be an angel. But perhaps you're right. I'm sure that she knows, has seen, and has more access to divinity than any of us. Perhaps she just needs to be shown that somebody else cares. I would say that helping Lulu recover her memories fully might be one of the best paths to removing Zariel's blinders. You must show her a part of who she was. It's clear that she's forgotten. And Twig points at the coin in your hand.
I mean, she's forgotten or chose to forget.
Are they different?
To a degree. One implies that if Zariel chose to forget part of herself, she did it to shed weakness.
Perhaps that's what was required.
Well, the way I see it, we're not going to be going anywhere fast unless Belle decides to take mercy upon us.
I noticed,
Sure.
I noticed that she said something that might be important. She mentioned that everyone else here will soon become like those in El Terrell. It might be fortunate that we've found ourselves back here. We might be able to stop that.
How so? Don't suppose you know how to destroy a companion, do you? Surely it's not just a coincidence that suddenly we can't see into the sky.
I don't know. Thirstwell said something that stood out to me. He said that this porter carries a book with her that has all the names of those who have pledged to the fist. Maybe that is Baldur's Gate's companion.
So you're saying by taking this ledger and perhaps destroying it, it would invalidate all of the current contracts?
Gotta start somewhere. If the way deals work among devils and mortals is even remotely similar to how they work among the Fae, it might work.
Yeah, well, if I was as smart as them, I would have that ledger and then have 7 different backups, so even if one was destroyed, it wouldn't invalidate the contracts.
You see, this is where I think that you're underestimating your own intelligence, Mamathor. These devils to me seem like they have a level of arrogance that supersedes any intelligence they might have. If you think you're more powerful than everything else, why would you feel the need to do such a thing?
I suppose it's something maybe only mortals can think of. Because devils only die if they die in the 9 hells.
Well, my guess is if this Liara Porter person is walking around with a ledger full of all the people's names who have been joining the Fist, it's quite likely she's a devil herself.
Just like the Avius. Knowing this isn't necessarily a problem. The problem is that getting remotely close to her, I have no doubt she's probably labeled us as enemies of Baldur's Gate.
If that's true, then they're probably already looking for you.
Assuming they know we're here, which wouldn't be hard to dissect given how much noise the others tend to create.
Well,
Especially Lep. Admittedly, she probably doesn't know about him.
we did also meet those guards at the manor gate. It could have been us that made the noise already.
They didn't really seem all that suspicious of me, but doesn't hurt to remain cautious.
Well, would you try to apprehend a tiefling who's been to hell and back?
If they were an enemy of the state, most definitely.
I think they're simple men who don't know what they're signing up for.
That's true. And it also helps that I have so many darkly shaded friends.
Well, are you done with your prayers?
I think I've seen everything I need to see here. Let's leave. And, I'll pick up a twig and leave.
Make a perception check as you head back to the barracks.
Nice.
21. You arrive back. Outside of the barracks, it kind of looks like a crumpled pile of stone. You move through the illusion, and Thirstwell has left the door unbarred. You return, and Thirstwell is coming down the ladder from the upper level. Crayley, you're heading back to the barracks?
Yep.
Lep,
Yeah,
make a perception check.
you got it.
Nice.
Some good rolls going on here.
Yeah.
You spot. You fly out. You fly out of the barracks. You transform into a pale crow, and you fly up out over the harbor. You can see that all of the ships are moored at the docks. They are barren, and there aren't really many people moving about the lower city. In the fog, you go higher, and you kind of loop out around the outside of the sea tower of Baldur, this sort of little island out in the middle of the harbor, connected by a water bridge. And you spot a Smiler perched in the parapets of one of the towers, looking down at the inner courtyard.
Crow left just swoops down and lands next to him, and then untransforms.
He kind of turns his twisted, smiling face towards you. He says, "Oh, hello, Lep. Didn't see you there."
Leps jumps into giving him a hug. It's like a dog jumping on a pony.
He says, "Shh, shh, shh, shh. You're going to give away our position."
I know, but I just need to hug someone.
He kind of
In what position? What do you mean?
pushes you off, and he points down into the courtyard below you guys. And you see a fairly grotesque sight. The inner walls of the sea tower of Balduran. I think I actually have a map of the sea tower. I don't know if is this map black to you guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
But fancy.
Yeah.
Lining the inner walls of the sea tower here. From the outside, it looks normal. Just plain stone walls. Sort of towers that, look out on all sides of the harbor, and from the parapets of the tower, sort of in the northwest corner. The two of you are perched there, and you look down through the parapet, and there are chains lining the inner walls. Hanging from them are mutilated bodies, all looking as though they've been viciously whipped until their flesh is just strips of barely hanging meat. In the center of the yard, there are dark patches of blood pooled around the edges of the inner wall. You see a later-aged woman, maybe in her late 40s, early 50s. Hair, the front of which is sort of graying in the bangs. She's wearing a suit of plate armor, and it has this sort of wide neck protection, kind of like a dog cone that goes and covers the lower part of her face. She's got a gleaming, just perfectly white cloak with the big flaming fist symbol on the back of it. Despite all the gore, she's just kind of spotless. She's got
Keeps casting for stitch.
yeah. She's talking to about a half a dozen armored men. They have kind of closed-nosed helms, and also just bright, clean white tabards. You can see that she's got like a dark leather satchel over one shoulder that's kind of hidden away by her cloak, but it's kind of exposed from the angle that you guys are at, that you can see is she's kind of resting her arm on it at her side. Smiler says, I can smell devils from a mile away.
Do you think that's the woman that the guy with the glasses was talking about?
She's certainly emanating an aura of power. I'd say it's probably her, yes.
Do you think that book is on her in that little satchel?
I don't know, but feel a compulsion welling up inside me. I want to kill her. I don't know why.
Well, I don't think you should kill them. I don't know if we'd be able to kill them.
I can smell the devil from a mile away. I can spot a warlord from just as far. It's a flaw of mine, you see.
What if we don't kill anybody? What if I'm a distraction and you try to steal the book or the satchel?
She's stronger than both of us.
Well, no, yeah, but like, I can put on a pretty interesting show. Do you think you'll be close enough to do anything?
Smiler says, make a persuasion check.
Okay.
You can make it with advantage.
Oh, thank you. Character with a +1 in charisma. Let's try and do a persuasion check. Hey, not too bad. Thought that was gonna be a lot worse.
Smiler looks at you for a long moment, and you see, like, briefly his features kind of soften, and his voice changes a little, and he says, "Sure, Lep, for old time's sake." And then he kind of his grin kind of twists back, and he says, "Do your worst." And he hops over the wall. What kind of distraction are you going to create?
Lep is going to hold out his mother's staff. Now, are they on top of one of these towers?
Yeah, here, you guys are...
Okay, because I was thinking about this before this even popped up, but this actually really helps. He's going to,
You guys are up here.
Okay.
There's actually like a half a dozen other men down there with Liara, but
Yeah, that's fine.
they're on the DM layer currently.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to stand up from his position and look towards them, hold out his mother's staff, and as he is casting this spell, he's going to be speaking, but he casts daylight on top of it, and he's holding it above his head. And as he does this, he's looking towards the sky, and he's like, "Queen Titania, leader of the Sealy Court, our queen of light, allow me your favor. Allow this city of mortals, of sadness and of corruption, to feel the light and the joy and the happiness of the Fae. Let everyone see you shine, and let your light shine into the depths and hells of Avernus. Grant me with your power." And he's like speaking this very loudly in a very like dramatic tone as he's trying to do this.
Uh-huh.
And I think this... Good.
No, go ahead.
I mean, he's trying to... I think he is actually trying to see if he can get to Tanya's help.
I just want you to get it all out before something terrible happens to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that is what he does. He's trying to do this big, like...
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you call it heroic or foolish, but...
So as you conjure this daylight, it shines down across the gore of the inner walls of the courtyard here. The Liara Porter with the other men all turn and sort of watch you as you shout this proclamation, this calling down towards them. You totally illuminate Smiler, who's scaling down the wall in front of you. And they kind of watch him climb halfway down. And I guess I would like you to roll initiative.
I thought he cast invisibility or something. Thought it was going to be a bit smarter than that. Oh,
Ooh.
no. Oh. Tatanga, I really do need your help.
Oh, there we go. Liar Porter and the other men are standing there calmly as the light is conjured. All the chains that are sort of looping, hanging along the inner walls, all begin to sort of rattle. So the sound of this chains rattling against the stone fill the courtyard. What would you like to do, Lep?
I mean, does anything come from his proclamation from Tatanga? Is there any sort of answer? Or is he just left alone with his thoughts?
Are you casting a spell or something? Like it's just daylight?
No, it was just, it was kind of like this proclamation of like, I am so joyful, I am so happiness, I am bringing this light. Help me out. I bring more.
Well,
he doesn't know if it would work. I don't know if it would work. I just want to see if it would do anything.
Sure. I would say that, there are times where when you call for divine intervention, I do ask for D100 rolls. But I think because Belle, your mother, and Zariel have all made an appearance this session, you've had all these memories unlocked and you feel a bit more courageous, although still kind of overwhelmed. You make this call for assistance to the Queen Tatiana, and as the light is like spilling out across the chains, all rattling over the gory, blood-soaked courtyard, Smiler's kind of like looking up at you like, why? And
this is gonna work. Yeah.
No, nothing. The men are not smited by the queen of the Feywild.
What? Say that again?
The men are not smited by the queen of the Feywild, unfortunately. No.
Damn.
Oh no.
Okay. What am I going to do? I'm bugged.
Smiler says, it was a good try.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
How far down is that distance to the ground?
I would say it's probably maybe 100 feet.
Oh. Okay, that's not good. Yeah. Yeah, Lep,
100,
oh god.
100,
How far down is Smiler?
140 foot tower.
140 feet.
Yeah.
And how far down is Smiler?
Smiler's about halfway.
Oh shit, okay. Well, we're gonna make this a show, why not? He's going to go to the edge and jump down, and when he is 30 feet from the ground, he's going to cast, what's it called? Face step. To hopefully land on the ground with not too much effort. I don't know if you want me to make a check for that, but that's...
Oh, no, you can face step to the ground.
Okay. Yeah, so that's... Oh god, that's what he does. I really fucked myself over. I... Would you allow me to use my action to make some sort of, like, intimidation check against them? Or something of that sort of thought process?
It would
As he's
be
being a fool and...
it would be like a DC 30.
Oh god. It's on the Charisma, so that that ain't happening.
If it helps inform your decision.
It does help a bit. Oh god, I have fucked myself over so bad.
Smiler says Smiler says, "Just fly out of here, you beautiful crow. I'll be behind you."
I'm not a crow. I can't wild shape.
Oh,
I
unfortunate.
used all of my wild shape
It's unfortunate.
already.
It's very unfortunate.
It is. Would you say Left's going, like, jumping down and face stepping? Would you count that as, like, part of his movement? Like,
I mean, if you fall into the range of, then where you face step. So I don't think so.
okay. So you say he still have his full, like, 40 movement?
Yeah.
Okay, and how far away is the hour porter?
She is probably. Let's see if that tower is 140. She's probably about the same distance, so about 140 feet from you.
Okay, Lep is going to dash and move 80 feet towards it. And I don't know why. But
Yeah, 200 maybe, 200 feet.
200? Okay. So, like, there, I guess? He just moves 80 feet forward. And as he does this, he's like, Wait, that didn't work. Shit. Thought that was gonna work. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. That was meant to be to Asmodeus, not to Tanya. That is my bad. I am new to the Force.
Liara says, make a deception check.
Okay. It's not gonna go good, but you know what? We'll try. Maybe something will good. I don't think so, but we'll try.
Liara says,
Yep.
"What is your name, soldier?"
Oh, I'm Lep.
She opens her satchel and pulls out this large leather book. She starts to flip through it. And
Grip it.
she says, I don't seem to have you in my ledger. That is unfortunate. kill him. And she pushes the book back in the satchel, and the rest of the guys charge you.
That's his turn. Yeah, he can't do what they are.
So some of these guys will... Let's see, you dashed 80, so you're about 120 away still from this group of soldiers. So they dash 60, making it another dash for you. You do notice that they wield, even though they're covered, in armor and flaming fist tabards, they do wield familiar-looking glaives. Glaives that you have been on the pointy end of before.
Oh no.
How fun.
I thought we left all the devils in Avernus.
Smiler... He flicks out his glider and he pushes off the wall in a onto the sea winds. He's kind of lifted, and you see his shadow kind of go over your head. The edges of his glider are a little singed from dragon breath, but he whistles. He puts his fingers in his mouth and whistles down at you, and he drops an object out of his hand, which falls. Make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, he's left.
Because this is
This
is a delicate potion vial. We'll call it a 10. We'll just call it a 10. He drops it. Good.
I have inspiration.
Okay. Yeah.
We're gonna use it.
Use it.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh man.
Man.
The odds are not in our favor.
It's not.
All right. I'm gonna
I
see.
tried
I'm gonna
to
see if
summon
the.
a deity and it
I'm
didn't
gonna
work.
see if the bottle survives the landing. I'll make a roll for that too. Because there's pools of blood. It could land on the grass or pools of blood or something. But
Yeah.
we'll say that if it's a 50-50. So if this is above a 10, it survives. Below it breaks. Okay, so this potion vial that Smiler pulls out of his cloak shatters at your feet, and Smiler says, "Wow, I can see why that they make you travel with that squirrel."
That takes D4.
not bad.
All right. Some of these chains sort of animate. You can see they sprout these razor-edged barbs, the chains, and these three chains around the edges of the walls of the sea tower. There are chains kind of scattered around the yard as well. 4 of these chains animate, and they begin to whip at you, Lep. So one of them strikes you for 12 slashing damage. You are grappled.
Oh.
Which just means your movement speed is currently 0 while you are grappled.
Yeah.
2 more chains whip you. Another chain rakes across you for 20 slashing damage, and a third chain for 10 more. So...
he's down.
Oh, you are?
He wasn't able to do the long rest in Avernus, yeah. He's down.
You fall unconscious, and
I imagine as he does, he let goes of his staff, and he's just like, oh, damn.
Yeah, you fall into a squishy pool of coagulated blood as your vision goes dark and you fall unconscious. Your staff topples to one side, still casting daylight over the soldiers in the courtyard, illuminating the gore and the chains, as the last thing you see is Smiler looking down at you as you fall. And that is where we'll end the session this week.
This seems so familiar.
Well, that was a fun one. I hope you guys feel a little more grounded in the material plane. I really... didn't know where I was going to go this week. So I just kind of decided what Baldur's Gate would look like with you guys being gone for 3 days. And other than that, I just kind of wanted to see what you guys would do. So, well done as always. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for playing, and I will see you all next Wednesday. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Later, guys.
Yeah.
See
See
ya.
ya.